This gentleman here has thanked me for my videos and also asked for some help, which I don't mind doing ever. So please, whoever, if you want to send over information, the more drawings, photographs you send me, the better, and the more I can help. So the problem that this gentleman's got with this roof is the ventilation. He's seen one of my videos before and he's talking about putting mushroom vents. If you haven't seen it, I do one about putting the mushroom vents over the top of the joists, because this mushroom vent will vent both sides. So theoretically he's only got 4 mushroom vents. Excuse me for doing that. He's only got 4 mushroom vents where he would have had 6, and it doesn't look particularly good. However, building control doesn't like mushroom vents. In fact, we don't like cold roofs at all. You should try not to do a cold roof whatsoever. You should always try and do a warm roof if you can. Cold roofs don't work anymore because of the amount of insulation that we put in underneath. The insulation stops the warmth from getting up into the vented space, and therefore it's taken away the potential for further drying because you've taken away the heat. So don't do them. But if you have to do them, ventilation is something that you need to put in, and the more ventilation you put in, the better. Now, doing this is good, but building control won't like it. Of course, what you've got to do is you've got to put more venting down this side as well. He's got an upstand of a wall down here, so you're going to have to go over to what we call an abutment vent or something like that. Normally you'd have a soffit and a drip detail over here, and you could put a soffit vent. I'll go into that in a second. So this is what he's proposing to do. He's now sent me over a couple of other drawings. This particular one, which this is what he wants to do inside, which is fine. He's got everything here is absolutely fine. He won't get to the correct thermal performance needed to get to Part L of the building regulations by doing so, and the local authority will probably want at least 25 or 50 mil of insulation put underneath here. Now, he's got the air vapor control layer in the right place, and then what will normally happen, 25 to 50 mil of insulation will be put under the air vapor control layer and sandwiched between the plasterboard. That gives a continuous layer across here of thermal performance, stopping any thermal bridging through the end of these timbers as well. And it really does make a lot of difference. It's well worth doing, but it drops your ceiling down. And of course, you can't have any spotlights in this. Now, he's also talking about, because he's saying that he may not be able to put an abutment vent across there. He's talking about putting air bricks in at the end there. Now, let's just go and show you what an air brick is if you don't know. This is an air brick. Now, this is all against all types of building control, but I would always say do not do it. You can't get enough ventilation. But this air brick would give you more ventilation than if you were using one of these terracotta ones. So if you're going to do it with air bricks at the end there, you've got to put one of these at the end of every joist in between, which is a hell of a lot of work. And the workaround that you're doing is more and more and more all the time. You're far better off to use an abutment vent. So I've just gone along did a search for an abutment vent. There's loads of different abutment vents here. The NHBC store points you to a hell of a load of them, but this particular manufacturer, which is Glideville, they make loads of different ones. I mean, these are superb. We've used them many times. They are expensive, but whatever way you go about it, it's an expensive thing. You can see me, I do many where I've made them in the past, but the cost of making them is so much that it just outweighs it. You might as well buy a lovely one, and they make some really good ones. So going over to mushroom vents, this is our preferred mushroom vent out of all of these. It's cheap, as you can see. That's only £10.36, where some of them are twice that price, and some of them are even more than that. That's what it looks like. And the reason we like using that is because of the size of the base. Because the size of the base is so wide that if you put it in the center and have a timber running down the middle, you can still get air movement up this side and air movement down that side. Ultimately, you would put some kind of soffit vent in, anything like this. I just did a search on Google for soffit vents, and these all come up. So going back to this man's dilemma here, personally, I would try and convert this to a warm roof and get rid of all ventilation whatsoever. Hope that helps. Speak soon.